this obviously will be an interpretive method here. Basically, I'm not going to drop, the 7-string down to G sharp, all that jazz. This is basically just for like a 6-stringer who plays a lot in standard, probably plays a lot of the Adrenaline album stuff, that wants to just maybe dip a toe into some of the later stuff. So basically what I'm going to be doing here is a very minimal drop D flat tuning. So just taking the low E, dropping that down to D flat or C sharp, and everything else stays the same. So we'll have the A, D, G, B, E under it. So just the low string down to D flat, and basically just transposing everything into this. Of course, during kind of like that one section where we drop down to like a very low B flat power chord, that's kind of the most sacrifice we'll have to make here, is just kind of like that one power chord, but it sounds just as well here, so not a big deal. But this intro bridge kind of clean riff, we start here by using this D flat, open low D flat or C sharp, and we're just doing the octave with it. So we'll have the open low D flat, have the 4 on the A, 6 on the G, and we're going to be kind of just intermittently like mixing in this A note here, the 7 on the D there, but it's kind of like we hit it all. Alright, and then we kind of just like lift off of that A and just deaden it. We're just kind of like intermittently like mixing it in, but we're keeping this octave going. Alright, and it's like we gave it a couple strums and then kind of hit that A note back in there, that 7 on the D, and then just mix in a couple without it. So it's kind of like this bouncing in and out with that note. It's kind of like every 3 or something like that. Kind of has this like 3 feel to it. So like, alright, just kind of shuffling it in there. And then essentially we're taking that exact shape that we're using there, and we just slide it on up here. So now we have the 9 on the A. You're going to be mixing in that 12 on the D and the 11 for the octave on the G here. And we're still using the open low D flat or C sharp there. And it's the same thing, just in this spot now. And just go back and forth. And after that, we get into the verses, and we kick on the overdrive and all that good stuff. And from here, we just kind of switch to more just like a power chord shape. Kind of the same spots, really. We got the open low D flat, got the 4 on the A, 6 on the D and G here. It's just making a big old power chord. And with this, we're just kind of strumming right away on it, like 8th notes. Not really mixing in anything crazy, just... And then we zoom up to that octave we were using, the 9A, 11 on the G, and we just hit that. We deaden the low D flat, and we deaden the middle D there, and we just strum away on that. And just go between those. Alright, and that's for the verses. I guess what you would call this the chorus. This is kind of where I was mentioning where, with the dropped, the lowered 7-string to G sharp tuning or whatever, we hit this low B flat power chord. Can't quite get there with this, but we can just hit a pretty good B flat power chord. And with the drop D flat tuning here, it'd be this shape where we'll be up here at the 9 on the low D flat, and then hit the 8s on the A and D there, and we just kind of strum on it, about 8 times. And then we switch to kind of an octave thing where we want a flat octave. So with this would be 7 on the D flat and the 6 on the middle D there. Just deaden the A string. And it's 1, 2, 3 on this. Drop it down to the F sharp or G flat here at the 5 on the D flat, 4 on the D. Keep the A deadened. couple strums here. Zoom it up to an A now, which would be at the 8th fret on the D flat and the 7 on the middle D, and just strum this out for a few. So. Alright, and it jams through that a handful of times, and then basically it just repeats that ending 4 times or so. Alright, and other than that, there's only kind of one little variant thing that happens for kind of like the verse riff. Instead of just, you know, hitting like the big old power chord, it kind of does like, it hits the power chord and then it does more of a big full like sus2 kind of chord. It might not quite be a sus2 chord, but with this tuning, just doing a sus2 chord here gets you right in the neighborhood and sounds pretty good. So I just roll with that. So we'll hit like the power chord of it, the open D flat, 4 on the A, 6 on the D and G there. And then we hit just basically bar the 4s under that. So we include the 4 on the G, keep that 6 on the G, and then we do the 4 on the B. All right. Get that sus2 vibe in there. If you incidentally hit like a 4 on the high E, it's cool. You can throw it in there. All right, so it's kind of like power chord, strum that full, power chord, strum that full. Do that a few times there. And then you just zoom up to that 9/11 octave that we do and just finish it. So a little variation of the verse pattern there, but after you get that, those are pretty much all the sections.